Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Cartoons, and today, as you can see on my screen here, the new World of Warcraft expansion was announced called World of Warcraft Legion, and there's, with that, another class that has been announced called Demon Hunters, which is a hero class, and I would like to give you a full introduction to what Demon Hunters are, what they can do, and some ability previews as well for what information I have today to share with you. And first, Demon Hunters are going to be starting on this outlandish looking world, and it's going to look really cool. And how they're introducing it as a demon hunter is going to start off of this like prison outland world, which is kind of a preview of what you're seeing through this image right here. And I think that we can go ahead and just jump into what they're going to look like, because I have a few models here to share with you today. And as you can see, this is the female Blood Elf version, and I don't know what kind of, if this is like base armor, which is what you start with, or what, but I know that you'll be using Warglaives of some sort, not like, I mean, kind of like the Warglaives of Azeroth, but a lot of different types of glaive models as well. And this is what the Blood Elf female version is going to be looking like. Demon Hunters can only be Blood Elves and Night Elves. They can't be humans, they can't be orcs. No Demon Hunter trolls, no Demon Hunter undead, nothing like that. Only Night Elves and Blood Elves. And this is really important for the story because obviously elves in previous games like Warcraft 3 have mostly been the Demon Hunter type themes. So with that being said, this is the female Blood Elf, and then as you can see, another one right here. Looking good. And then this is the male one, and you can actually customize your horns. From what I got is that you can change up the different style of horns just like you would with a hair color or hairstyle when you create your character, so that's going to be pretty fun. This is more of the Illidan traditional type of horns, but there's a lot of different ones. One that look more like a satyr, one that are just crazy, one that like go over the back of your head. There's a lot of different types, and the gear models do look pretty cool. It definitely looks more of an assassin type feel, which I think really does fit into the Demon Hunter theme, which is what they're going for. So as you can see, another Blood Elf angle right here. And also what was mentioned is that these little masks that go in, because I guess the story behind Demon Hunters is that they have to tear their eyes out in order to become a Demon Hunter and have that demon sight. And some can go traditional Illidan mask, like this, where you have that like wrap around and you get the little glowy eyes, or you can have these like veils over your face. So that's how that is going to work. Now here is the DPS spec, which I'll get into in just a second. This is the DPS spec Metamorphosis version, and they have not explained, Blizzard being they, Blizzard has not explained how the Metamorphosis is going to work, whether it's like you get this full demonic fury and then you like metamorphose, and they haven't explained it, so all they've given us is the models right now, and that's what I'm giving you to preview. But it definitely does live up to the hype. It looks really cool. This looks like an actual in-game model for the metamorphosis, and I definitely am pretty hyped about this. I will be playing a Demon Hunter for sure, and I have another model to show you in just a second. This is the female Night Elf version. As you can see, the different style of horns, the glowy armor, just like the Blood Elves. It looks really cool. I actually do like that it is only elves. I think it looks really cool myself. So another model from the Night Elf female, okay. And then the Night Elf male, again with the Illidan style horns. You can change these. Pretty cool looking, pretty cool. One more angle from the Night Elf. And then next up you're going to see, now this is the tank version of the Metamorphosis. I guess they change dependent on what spec you are, the actual model of the metamorphosis form, but this is the tank version from what they were trying to explain. And he obviously, you can see that it's a lot more bulky, a lot less shadowy, I guess, but still, a lot of demon power, bulky being the main theme, because obviously it's a tank. So that's pretty cool. That does sum up what I have just for that area, but I would like to talk about what their resource is. You know how like rogues have energy, warriors have rage, everyone else has mana and stuff like that, right? The resource for Demon Hunters are actually going to be Demonic Fury. And this is going to work similarly to Runic Power for Death Knights, and as well as Warrior for Rage. Some abilities will grant you Demonic Fury, and then some will take away Demonic Fury based on the abilities, and I'll show you some ability previews in just a couple minutes. But the Demonic Fury is going to be the main resource for this, and I imagine that this is going to work around how the Metamorphosis works as well. If you reach that top Demonic Fury, I would imagine you get like a set time in Metamorphosis form, which gives you like a certain like ability upgrades or whatever, which is this form right here, and then normally you would look like that. So I think that there's a lot to be explained about this, which hasn't come yet because this is just a first impression video. However, I would like to go ahead and move into the two talent specs, which is Havoc and Vengeance. And that comes with right here. Obviously, right here, this is the model that you're going to be looking like whenever you are Havoc and DPS spec. And this is going to be more around actually, you know, the mobility type of class that they're looking to do. They're trying to keep this mobile assassin type theme. And with that being said, this is what you're going to be looking like. You're going to be able to do tons of dashes. You're going to be able to vault away at times. You're going to be able to, I think that there was something I saw where you can actually double jump into a glide and get even more damage. There's a lot of ways that you can get a lot of damage out of this, but this is the model that you're going to be looking like in the DPS spec, and again, for the tank spec as well. And they said that they're not doing 3 specs. You know how or all classes have 3 specs, right? They'll have 3 specs of talent specializations that they would be doing. Demon Hunters only have 2, which is called Havoc, which is the DPS spec, and Vengeance, which is the tank spec. And other than that, there will not be a 3rd spec. They said that they did not foresee a healer spec being okay for a Demon Hunter, which I totally agree with. I don't think that would be cool at all. So I'm perfectly happy with 2 specs being Havoc and Vengeance, and I think that's really cool. Now, one thing that's very interesting about this class is that they can double jump, okay? And double jumping is a new mechanic in the game that has never been brought before. So as you can see here, the Demon Hunter can double jump and get over obstacles as which other classes would not be able to do. And I think that this double jump will also somehow synergize with these like gliding effects that the Demon Hunter abilities are going to showcase later on as they're more in-depthly explained by Blizzard and how the abilities will work in a more final version of the game. But yes, Demon Hunters can double jump, which is really cool, and I think that there's going to be a lot of interesting plays with double jumping, because obviously if they put so much time into getting the double jump mechanic to work, there's going to be, you know, things to cater to that throughout the expansion. And next up, I would like to talk about the Demon Hunter ability previews that they've given us. Now, this is super early on, so things can be changed, obviously. Like, don't worry about the values, nothing like that, but at least get the overview of the ability and just read it with me. I'm just going to go through these abilities from first to last, and the first ability is going to be called Fell Rush, and this ability actually stacks twice, so you can have 2 Fell Rushes, which wasn't explained in the tooltip, but wasn't explained in the presentation. Now, Fell Rush is an ability that's going to charge you forward probably about 10 yards, and it's going to deal damage along your path during that charge, and it's also going to generate a certain amount of fury. 40, I guess, is the number that they're going with now. It's going to really define the mobility of the class. Now, moving on to the second one, Chaos Strike. Now, this is an ability that's just going to be used whenever you are in melee range, similar to how Backstab or Mortal Strike or Frost Strike would work, or, you know, any kind of melee ability, and it costs a certain amount of fury as well. So what you could do here is, you know, generate 40 Fury and then use Chaos Strike for your next ability. Cool. Chaos Nova. So Chaos Nova is an ability that whenever you are in melee range of people, of like a bunch of people, obviously you can slam on the ground and it's going to stun those people, like everyone around you, for 5 seconds and deal a certain amount of damage to them. This is a 1-minute cooldown. It's an instant cast, and it's pretty crazy because it actually stuns everything, which is really, really good for melee damage dealers. You know, Death Knights can't do this. Warriors can only do it to one target. Death Knights can actually only do it to one target with Asphyxiate. Now, Chaos Nova is able to do that with all targets around you, similar to how the Monk Sweeping Leg Strike works, which would be really cool. Now, I-Beam, I imagine that I-Beam is going to be the ability that people, or Blizzard, the developers, would like to see this being the highest damage single target spell. And that is because whenever you channel it for 4 seconds, you deal, obviously, this says 21,000, and everything else is like a third of that, so that's why I'm giving that prediction. And it's a 12-second cooldown, and it blasts someone, and you channel over 4 seconds, and it blasts them for a really high amount of damage. Again, you have to channel it, so obviously it might be interruptible. And it also can continue to channel if you were to go out of line of sight. So if someone is in line of sight, you start casting the spell, they run out of line of sight, it will still cast the spell because it's a channel spell. And that's just how the game works. Now, Spectral Sight is a really interesting ability which defines a lot about the Demon Hunter class. And this is that you can see enemies through physical barriers, and also you can see enemies that are stealthed and invisible. Now, this is really interesting because it pretty much stops all rogue and feral druids, obviously right there, but it also will help you see whenever people are in their AoE stealth, so the Shroud of Concealment from rogues. A lot of comps do work around that whenever they have a rogue in there, and it really helps to get an opener. Demon Hunters can stop that in Arena. They can stop these stealthy openers and stuff like that, which is going to be interesting, and also they can see people through walls. I'm pretty sure people get banned for that in CSGO, but Demon Hunters are allowed to, so it's all good. Vengeful Retreat. So Vengeful Retreat is the last ability that we have been given today, and Vengeful Retreat is going to define a lot of how the DPS spec works, because the DPS spec, which is called Havoc, as opposed to Vengeance, which is the tanking spec, DPS spec Havoc will be more mobile and more in and out type of assassin play, as opposed to just running your face at people and just smashing them in the head until they die. Vengeful Retreat is going to allow you to get out and be more mobile, and also it deflects the first ability or attack used on you whenever you do vault back a certain amount of yards. So that's a pretty good preview, showcasing how this like melee type assassin with a lot of mobility is going to work, and I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So now I think what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a montage of all these abilities in action, and I hope you do enjoy. So that does sum it up for today's video, previewing the Demon Hunter class for World of Warcraft Legion. I hope you did enjoy. Please be sure to give me a like, and also leave a comment down below of what you think of the Demon Hunter class, because I really do want to hear your opinion. I want to play it. It looks like a lot of fun, and be sure to subscribe for future videos. I'll be covering a lot over this next expansion. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Cartoons out.
Ha 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 ha.